शेषा शून्यवादी शाश्वतादिशतारिणे
नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाशतादिशतारिणे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
जय प्रभुपाद जय प्रभुपाद
जय हो प्रभुपाद जय हो प्रभुपाद
जय गुरुदेव गुरुदेव जय गुरुदेव
जय हो गुरुदेव जय हो गुरुदेव
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
नित्य गौर हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल
नित्य गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय।
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Vedanshi. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. अब प्रभु जी कीर्तन भी करना, साथ साथ ही गेम खेलने। अच्छा।
Yes, Prabhu.
So Anshi, she is 100%. Ankita Mataji also 100%.
आपने नहीं दिया प्रभु जी टेस्ट।
मुझे तो लगा अभी आप प्रॉम्प्ट करोगे मुझे कि अब मैं तो कीर्तन सुनता रहा।
It is
मल्टीटास्किंग करनी है।
Yes, Prabhu.
Atul Prabhu also 100%. Pinky Mataji also. Namrasita Mataji is playing. Vrindavan Prunda Prabhu is playing. Rameshwar Gaurang Prabhu. बाकी लोग भी खेलिए। मैं भी शुरू करने लगता हूँ। 1 मिनट प्रभु जी।
I won't let the session start, Prabhuji.
ओए होए होए, अच्छा, ओके प्रभु, एक मिनट, स्टार्ट गेम. We are 19 people, members, and Ansh Mataji, Ankita Mataji, Ansh Mataji. Okay. So it is a time which is, time is making the difference. Oh, they're all expert too. So, wow. Sorry.
If you play it on mobile, then you have more chances of getting a higher score, Prabhuji.
Why?
Because less hand movement, and then you are able to answer it quickly.
Oh, microsecond बचा रहे हैं.
Microsecond. Because I played today on laptop, and I realized that every time that button position changes to submit.
Oh.
Then you have to search for it. क्यों गया कहाँ?
इसलिए आप थर्ड आए.
Okay.
And the question also spans bigger, no? On the screen, it is like left to right. You have to read the entire.
Right.
Where on mobile, it is a smaller screen.
Wow. Okay, Prabhu.
These are the final ones.
So final is ऊपर कौन है? Anshi. Oh, Anshi Mataji ki jai ho. Then Ankita Mataji, also very fast. Ramesh Gaurang, प्रभु रह गए आज मोबाइल पे खेलने से, इसलिए नहीं तो फर्स्ट राधिका माता जी also, then गिरिराज दास. अच्छा, प्रभुपाद कृपा संगा. ये कौन है प्रभु जी? प्रभुपाद कृपा संगा.
ये मेरे को
Admin.
अच्छा, एडमिन है. एडमिन ही पीछे रह गया.
मैं नहीं खेल रहा.
अच्छा, आप नहीं. नंबर सीता माता
मैंने तो
जी.
नाम चेंज किया था.
अब वो बग है, वो बग है इसका. मेरे को पता था. इट्स अ बग है.
अच्छा, इट इज शिवानी माता जी.
यस प्रभु जी.
अच्छा, वेरी गुड. Then Namrasita Mataji also, very nice. Then Atul Prabhu, Sani Prabhu, then Pinky Mataji, Vrindavan Purandar Prabhu, then Sathi Javeri, okay, then Jeet Mataji, then Asim Goputra Prabhu. Asim Goputra Prabhu, abhi still playing. Okay. So how many has played?
13.
1-3?
1-3.
Okay. So rest 9 are shy?
I don't know.
Okay. Everybody should try to play. मैं भी नहीं खेलता हूँ, पर जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर कह रहा है तो उनकी बात सुननी चाहिए. और ऑल्सो इट्स ए गुड रिवीजन, यू नो, कि हमने कल क्या पढ़ा, नहीं भी पढ़ा उसके बाद तो ये पढ़ के रिवीजन हो जाता है एकदम फटाफट कि क्या पढ़ा हमने.
और अगले पिछले दिन के क्वेश्चन अगले दिन वो उसमें भी आ जाते हैं. क्या कहते हैं उसको? ग्रुप पे भी मैं पोस्ट कर देता हूँ. एंड रमेश प्रभु इज शेयरिंग द नोट्स.
Yes.
अच्छा.
On yesterday, I'll say share tonight little later. Could not create it, but I'll share tonight.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
So we will begin our session now. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine. Vishesha Shunyavadi Parshatya Deshitarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So अभी हम जिस सेक्शन पे हैं 1114. So अभी हम जिस सेक्शन के ऊपर हैं, तो इस सेक्शन के अंदर अब 6 प्रश्न हैं. ये सेक्शन है, इसके अंदर 6 क्वेश्चंस दे आर गोइंग टू आस्क. तो पहला क्वेश्चन कि व्हाट इज अल्टीमेट बेनिफिट ऑफ द मैनकाइंड. सेकंड, व्हाट इज द एसेंस ऑफ ऑल द स्क्रिप्चर्स. देन व्हाट काइंड ऑफ व्हाई डिड लॉर्ड टुक बर्थ, why he has to take birth, and then फिर यहाँ बर्थ जब लेते हैं तो यहाँ के किस तरह की लीलाएं करते हैं, और कितने भगवान के जो अवतार हैं वो किस तरह के आते हैं, कितने आते हैं. और लास्टली कि जब भगवान चले गए तो जो धर्म है उसने किसका सहारा लिया. बिकॉज जब भगवान गए तो जब when he came everything became auspicious. So then whose shelter religion has taken after Krishna left his abode. तो ये जो है प्रश्न सारे, ये 11वें से लेके 23वें तक, ये सारे ये बीच में ये 6 प्रश्न आते हैं. 11 से 23 के बीच में ये भागवतम के पहले स्कंद के 6 चैप्टर है, 6 क्वेश्चंस हैं. सो विल रीड द वर्स. आपन संश्रितम घोरम यमनाम विश्वासो गृणम तथा साध्यो विमुच्येता यद बिभेति स्वयं भयम. Apanna, being entangled, samshritam, in the hurdle of birth and death, ghoram, too complicated, yatah, what, nama, the absolute name, vivasha, unconsciously, grinam, chanting, tata, from that, sadhya, at once, vimuchyate, get freedom, yat, that which, bibeti, fears, swayam, personally, bhayam, fear itself. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada. So, living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by the fear personified. कितना सुंदर है देखिए. Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by fear personified. देखिए इतनी शक्ति है भगवान के नाम के अंदर. किसको याद है एक कोई मंत्र, इसी तरह का मंत्र किसको याद है? Who remembers this mantra like this? गाते हैं कई बार हम लोग.
यस
उग्रम वीरम
का मंत्र आते हैं.
उग्रम वीरम महाविष्णुम ज्वलंतम सर्वतोमुखम नरसिंहम भीषणम भद्रम मृत्युम मृत्युम नमाम्यहम. कि जिसके नाम से जो पर्सोनिफाइड डेथ है वो भी घबराती है. मृत्युम मृत्युम नमाम्यहम. सो जब आप इस तरह से हम देखते हैं तो हम पाएंगे आरतियों में, प्रार्थनाओं में, भागवतम में सब एक जैसे हैं. So, purport. Vasudev or Lord Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, is the supreme controller of everything. There is no one in creation who is not afraid of the rage of the Almighty. Great asuras like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, Kansa, and others who are very powerful living entities were all killed by the personality of Godhead. And the Almighty Vasudev has empowered his name with the powers of his personal self. ये कौन सी लाइन है? नाम नाम अकारी बहुधा सर्वशक्ष, कि जो भगवान के नाम है उन्हीं में भगवान ने सारी शक्तियां डाली हैं. Everything is related to him and everything has its identity in him. It is stated herein that the name of Krishna is feared even by the fear personified. This indicates that the name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. क्योंकि कृष्ण से भी भय भागता है और कह रहे हैं कृष्ण के नाम से भी भागता है. So A is equal to B, B is equal to C, hence A is equal to C. Like this, Prabhupada is saying. So इसका मतलब है कि भगवान में और उनके नाम में कोई फर्क नहीं है. Therefore, the name of Krishna is as powerful as Lord Krishna himself. There is no difference at all. Anyone, therefore, can take advantage of the holy names of Lord Krishna, even in the midst of the greatest dangers. The transcendental name of Krishna, even though uttered unconsciously or by force of circumstances, can help one obtain freedom from the hurdle of birth and death. क्योंकि हमने सुना है कि मृत्यु के समय भी अगर आप भगवान का नाम लेते हैं तो इररिस्पेक्टिव को हमने क्या किया क्या नहीं किया, सो भगवान के धाम चले जाते हैं. ये अजामिल की कथा से भी देखते हैं हम किस तरह से सारा जीवन पाप में रहा और केवल बच्चे का नाम नारायण लेने से. सो इट इज ऑल्सो अनकॉन्शियसली, है ना. ही इज नॉट टेकिंग लॉर्ड्स नेम. जब वो यमदूत आए और वो जो विष्णु दूत आते हैं उनमें बहस यही होती है, तो बोलते हैं भगवान का नाम लिया, तो बोलते हैं ठीक है भगवान का नाम लिया पर भगवान को नहीं पुकारा, उन्होंने तो अपने बच्चे को पुकारा. तो बोलते हैं कि नहीं, भगवान के नाम में इतनी शक्ति है कि आप चाहे भगवान को बुलाएं चाहे ना बुलाएं, पर भगवान का नाम लेते हैं, उस शक्ति उसी में इतनी शक्ति है कि आपके जो सारे पाप हैं वो कट गए. तो इस तरह से हम देख सकते हैं कि कितने सारे जो है, जैसे गजेंद्र की कथा कि कष्ट के समय भगवान का नाम लिया और भगवान स्वयं आके उनको रिलीज किया, लाइक दिस. और द्रौपदीज केस, सो मेनी इंस्टेंसेस वी सी वेयर डिवोटीज आर इन डेंजर्स एंड दे टेक द होली नेम एंड देयर इज अ प्रोटेक्शन. ओके, और आप में से भी जो पढ़ना चाहते हैं प्लीज यू कैन रेज द हैंड्स एंड एक एक करके पढ़ सकते हैं. यत्पाद संश्रया सूता मुन्या प्रश्मायना सद्या पुनाति उपास्पृष्टा स्वधूनि आपो अन्युसेवया. Synonyms: Yat, whose path, lotus feet; Samshraya, those who have taken shelter of; Suta, O Sut Goswami; Munya, great sages; Parashmayana, absorbed in the devotion of the Supreme; Sadhya, at once; Punanti, sanctify; Upasprishta, simply by association; Swardhuni, of the sacred Ganges; Apa, water; Anusevaya, bringing into use. Translation and purport. Okay. Yes. Who has raised the hand first? Okay. Admin has raised the hand. Okay. Rest Ronnie Prabhu. Go ahead.
Translation. O Suta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the waters of the Ganges can sanctify only one prolonged use. Only after prolonged use.
So ये देखिए, ये आपको पता है वैष्णव भजन भी है ऐसे, है ना. इसी तरह इसी मूड के अंदर वैष्णव भजन भी है. हाँ, कि जो भगवान के चरणों की जो शरण लेते हैं, हाँ, या जिन्होंने भगवान के चरणों की शरण भी ली है उनका भी शेल्टर लेते हैं. हाँ, सो एकदम जो है भगवान के टच में आ जाते हैं. जबकि अगर गंगा में नहाते हैं तो प्यूरिफाई होते हैं, सैंक्टिफाई होते हैं, बट बार बार नहाना पड़ता है. Like this. So those sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the water of Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use. सो जो वैष्णव है, जो जो शुद्ध भक्त हैं भगवान के, जो वैष्णव है, प्योर सीनियर वैष्णव है, तो उनका संग करने से ही वी गेट मोर बेनिफिट देन टेकिंग स्नान इन गंगा. यस प्रभु जी.
Pure devotees of the Lord are more powerful than the waters of the sacred river Ganges. One can derive spiritual benefit out of prolonged use of the Ganges water. But one can be sanctified at once by the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that any person, regardless of birth as Shudra, woman, or merchant, can take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, and by doing so can return to God. To take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord means to take shelter of the pure devotees. The pure devotees whose only business is serving are honored by the names Prabhupada and Vishnupad, which indicate such devotees to be representatives of the lotus feet of the Lord. Anyone therefore who takes shelter of the lotus feet of a pure devotee by accepting the pure devotee as a spiritual master can be at once purified. Such devotees of the Lord are honored equally with the Lord because they are engaged in the most confidential service of the Lord, for they deliver out of the material world the fallen souls whom the Lord wants to return home, back to Godhead. Such pure devotees are better known as vice lords according to revealed scriptures. The sincere disciple of the pure devotee considers the spiritual master equal to the Lord, but always considers himself to be a humble servant of the Lord. This is the pure devotional path.
So देखिए कितना अच्छे पर्ट्स हैं. सो एक तो प्रभुपाद की और विष्णुपाद की डेफिनेशन दे दी कि जिनका कार्य केवल 24 घंटे भगवान की सेवा में ही लगना है. और ऐसे जो भक्त हैं भगवान के, वो क्या है? दे आर द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव ऑफ गॉड हिमसेल्फ, लाइक दिस. और दूसरा इसमें लिखा है कि किस तरह से कि जो भगवान की जो सबसे कॉन्फिडेंशियल सेवा है वो ये भक्त करते हैं. भगवान की कॉन्फिडेंशियल सेवा ये नहीं है कि गोपी बन के भगवान के साथ नाचें, बल्कि ये है कि आप भगवान के जो बाकी संतानें हैं भगवान की, उनको आप भगवान से वापस जोड़ना. सो दिस इज द मोस्ट कॉन्फिडेंशियल सर्विस टू लॉर्ड. ओके, वंडरफुल. यस प्रभु जी, नेक्स्ट वर्स. सो नेक्स्ट राधिका माता जी. सो ओके, सो कवो भागवतस्तस्या पुण्य श्लोकेद्य कर्मणा शुद्धि कामो न शून्यात् यशा कली मलापहम. गो अहेड राधिका माता जी.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Synonyms: ka, who, va, rather, bhagavataha, of the Lord, tasya, his, punya, virtuous, shloka idya, worshipable by prayers, karmanaha, deeds, shuddhi kamaha, desiring deliverance from all the sins, na, not, shunyat, does hear, yasha, glories, kali, the age of quarrel, maha apaham, the agent of sanctification. Translation: who is there desiring deliverance from the vices of the age of quarrel, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord? Purport: the age of Kali is the most condemned age due to its quarrelsome features. Kali Yuga is so saturated with vicious habits that there is a great fight at the slightest misunderstanding. Those who are engaged in the pure devotional service of the Lord, who are without any desire or for self-aggrandizement, and who are freed from the effects of fruitive actions and dry philosophical speculations, are capable of getting out of the entrenchments of this complicated age. The leaders of the people are very much anxious to live in peace and friendship, but they have no information of the simple method of hearing the glories of the Lord. On the contrary, such leaders are opposed by the propagation of the glories of the Lord. In other words, the foolish leaders want to completely deny the existence of the Lord. In the name of secular state, such leaders are enacting various plans every year. but by the insurmountable intricacies of the material nature of the Lord, all these plans for progress are being constantly frustrated. They have no eyes to see that their attempts at peace and friendship are failing. But here is the hint to get over the hurdle. If we want actual peace, we must open the road to understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna and glorify him for his virtuous activities as they are depicted in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam.
देखिए बार बार आप देखिए जब जो ग्लोरीज हैं भागवतम की या पाएंगे या भगवान की नाम गुण लीलाओं की ग्लोरी करना या पाएंगे कि उनकी ग्लोरीज भी बार बार पूरे भागवतम में आती कि दैट और इसी तरह से प्रभुपाद लिख रहे हैं कि पूरे विश्व के अंदर जो है लोग जो है ये लिखते हैं कि राम राज्य चाहते हैं बिना राम के, है ना, ये प्रभुपाद लिखते हैं भागवतम में, पर वो पॉसिबल नहीं है. If you want Ram Rajya, you have to establish Ram in the center of our lives. और क्योंकि ऐसा नहीं करते हैं, and we still want better for people, then the result is quarrel, disagreement, and though intention may be right, but because the center is not right, God is not in the center, then the result is जो प्रभुपाद ने लिखे थे सारे chaos and fight, and we are seeing in today's world also. That यूक्रेन वॉर वाज अनथिंकेबल कि इस पढ़े लिखे युग के अंदर कि लोग इस तरह से लड़ सकते हैं, दो बड़ी कंट्रियां, और देख रहे हैं उसका रिजल्ट क्या, ना वो जीत पाया ना वो कर पाया, बाकी लोग भी फंस गए, एंड पीपल डोंट नो व्हेन इट इज गोइंग टू एंड. सो जस्ट मटेरियल प्रोग्रेस इज नॉट a benchmark that will get peace and prosperity. It will not come because God is not in the center. और उसके सेंटर में करने के लिए सबसे आसान कार्य है कि भगवान की जो भगवान के नाम के गुण का लीलाओं का कीर्तन किया जाए. Simple. If you just glorify the Lord, that itself has so much benediction for the whole world. Okay. Next, Prabhu. Who's next? Shivani Mataji. Okay. Go ahead, Prabhu. तस्य कर्माणि उदाराणि प्रतिगीतानि सूरिभिः ब्रूहिणा श्रद्धानानां लीलाय ददता कला. Go ahead, Mataji.
Tasya, his karmani, transcendental acts, udarani, magnanimous, parigitani, broadcast, surabhi, by the great souls, bruhi, please ask, na, on to us, shraddha nanam, ready to receive with respect, leelaya, pastimes, dadataha, advent, kalha, incarnation. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. His transcendental acts are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narad sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performed in his various incarnations. Purport. The personality of Godhead is never inactive, or as some less intelligent persons suggest. His works are magnificent and magnanimous. His creations, both material and spiritual, are all wonderful and contains all variegatedness. They are described nicely by such liberated souls as Sri Narad, Vyas, Valmiki, Dwala, Asid, Madhav, Sri Chaitanya, Ramanuja, Vishnu Swami, Nimbar, Sridhar, Vishwanath, Baldev, Bhakti Vinod, Siddhant, Saraswati, and many other learned and self-realized souls. These creations, both material and spiritual, are full of opulence, beauty, and knowledge. But the spiritual realm is more magnificent due to its being full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. The material creation are manifested for some time as perverted shadow of spiritual kingdom and can be likened to cinemas. They attract people of less intelligent caliber who are attracted by false things. Such foolish men have no information of the reality, and they take it for granted that false material manifestation is the all in all. But more intelligent men, guided by sages like Vyas and Narad, know that the eternal kingdom of God is more delightful, larger, and eternally full of bliss and knowledge. Those who are not conversant with the activities of the Lord and his transcendental realm are sometimes favored by the Lord in his adventurous as incarnations, wherein he displays the eternal bliss of his association in the transcendental realm. By such activities, he attract the conditioned souls of the material world. Some of these conditioned souls are engaged in the false enjoyment of material senses, and others in simply negating their real life in the spiritual world. These less intelligent persons are known as karmis or fruity workers, and jnanis or dry mental speculators. But above these two classes of men in the transcendentalist known as sattva or devotee, sattvata or devotee, who is busy neither with rampant material activities nor with material speculation. He is engaged in positive service of the Lord, and thereby he derives the highest spiritual benefit known as unknown to karmis and jnanis. As the supreme controller of both the material and spiritual world, the Lord has different incarnations of unlimited categories. Incarnation like Brahma, Rudra, Manu, Prithu, Vyas are his material qualitative incarnations. But his incarnations like Ram, Narsimha, Varha, Vaman are his transcendental incarnations. Lord Shri Krishna is the fountainhead of all incarnations, and he is therefore the cause of all causes.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, next one, Prabhu. Who wants to read? Please come forward. Please read Bhagavatam. Okay. Atha kya hi hare dhiman avatar katha shubha leela vidhata Sweram Ishwarasya Atma Mayaya. Yes, okay. Now, who's come first? Yes, Nidhi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Read the synonyms. Yes, Mataji.
Atha, therefore, Akhyahi, describe Hare of the Lord, Dhiman, O sagacious one, Avatar, incarnations, Katha, narratives, Shubha, auspicious, Leela, adventures, Vidhata, performed, Swairam, pastime, Ishwarya, of the Supreme Controller, Atma, personal, Mayaya, energies. Translation: O wise Suta, please narrate to us the transcendental pastime of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations. Such auspicious adventures and pastime of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers. Purport: for the creation, maintenance, and destruction of the material world, the Supreme Lord Personality of Godhead himself appears in many thousands of forms of incarnations, and the specific adventures found in those transcendental forms are all auspicious. Both those who are present during such activities and those who hear the transcendental narrations of such activities are benefited.
है ना तो भगवान क्या आते हैं परित्राणाय साधुनाम विनाशाय च दुष्कृता so Lord gives to come association to his devotees but also एक side benefit होता है कि जो innocent लोग होते हैं they feel attracted who have no knowledge they also feel attracted and their devotional life also prospers. Okay, thank you Mataji. Okay, quickly we have 1 minute. Yes Prabhu, next. थोड़ा सा बड़ा कर दे थोड़ा सा font. Okay. Okay. Vayam tu na vitripayam uttam shloka vikrame yashrinvantam rasgyanam swadu swadu pade pade. Yes, Ankita Mataji, go ahead.
Synonyms: Vayam, we, tu, but, na, not, Vitrapyama, shall be at rest, Uttam Shloka, the personality of Godhead who is glorified by transcendental prayers, Vikrame, adventures. Yat, which. Shrinvatam, by continuous hearing. Ras, humor. Jnanam, those who are conversant with. Swadu, relishing. Swadu, palatable. Pade pade, at every step. Translation: we never tire of hearing the transcendental pastimes of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relationships with Him relish hearing of His pastimes at every moment. Purport: there is a great difference between mundane stories, fiction, or history, and the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. The histories of the whole universe contain reference to the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord. The Ramayana, the Mahabharata, and the Puranas are histories of bygone ages recorded in connection with the pastimes of the incarnations of the Lord, and therefore remain fresh even after repeated readings. For example, anyone may read Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam repeatedly throughout his whole life and yet find in them new light of information. Mundane news is static, whereas transcendental news is dynamic, in as much as the spirit is dynamic and matter is static. Those who have developed a taste for understanding the transcendental subject matter are never tired of hearing such narrations. One is quickly satiated by mundane activities, but no one is satiated by transcendental or devotional activities. Uttam Shloka indicates that literature which is not meant for nescience, mundane literature, is in the mode of darkness or ignorance, whereas transcendental literature is quite different. Transcendental literature is above the mode of darkness, and its light becomes more luminous with progressive reading and realization of the transcendental subject matter. The so-called liberated persons are never satisfied by the repetition of the words Ahem Brahmasmi. Such artificial realization of Brahman becomes hackneyed, and so, to relish real pleasure, they turn to the narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. Those who are not so fortunate turn to altruism and worldly philanthropy. This means the Mayavad philosophy is mundane, whereas the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam is transcendental.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So we can see again and again when we read, then we see how much we are seeing WhatsApp or that Facebook or the YouTube or, or उसमें भी तो आप बहुत fast हो गए है ना, but you can't see them again. But though we don't have taste for Bhagavatam, but still we read. We may have read these verses again. Again we read, again there is something, like this. So, तो इसीलिए भागवतम पढ़ना जरूरी है, क्योंकि जब हम पढ़ते हैं अंदर, जिसमें ये माता जी पढ़ रहे थे, मुझे अंदर चोट लग रही थी, क्योंकि we know कि we are wasting time, like this. So this is the advantage of reading Bhagavatam in the association of, devotees, that, everything, something will touch our heart and will make devotional progress. So thank you so much. And if anybody has a question, they can raise the hand. And before that, okay, Ankita Mataji, before that, I want to answer the question which Shivani Machadi had asked that day, कि वो जो रसा है, they were to be, रसा जो थे, they were to be of the same species and not different species, not man and animal. And Mataji asked, sometime we have, rasa with a gaiya or a dog or anything. So how do we understand? So I asked Srimati Mataji, so basically जो रसा है, उनके जो center हैं वो सब में वो कृष्ण है. So it means all these rasas, the center has to be Krishna. और अगर वो, and some part of perversion is allowed. It is not so black and white. Some part of perversion is allowed. But if we don't see Krishna in them, then what is going to happen? What is going to happen? I love a dog. Then what is going to happen? Then next birth, I'll take a dog. You understand? So I can have that rasa with the animal, but the result will be degradation. So Mataji gave her own example. वो कहते हैं, मैं सरस्वती की जब मैं सेवा के लिए जाती हूँ, तो मैं जाने से पहले ये प्रार्थना करती हूँ कि now I am going to serve your cow, not the cow itself, but now I am going to serve your cow for your pleasure, like this, and I am taking your shelter and guidance and protection. So she says, if I don't do this, then next birth I will be there as a cow in Vrindavan. so because I love a cow in Vrindavan, so the result will be you become a cow, because that is our attachment lies there. So that clears. So that rasas are to be centered with Krishna. We can have that part with the animals and all of that, but if we don't see them as part and parcel of Krishna, that how we are serving whatever, then result will be degradation and we will end up in an animal body. Does that satisfy?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Yes. Ankita Mataji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, in one of the, I think, purports, it was like women, Shudras and merchants have been called out like specifically. Why so like?
Yes, Mataji. Because generally it is for common people. That generally women, Vaishya or kya tha, Shudra?
Shudra, merchant and women, three.
So, which means Kshatriya and Brahman, they still have some spiritual inclination and they want to make spiritual progress. But usually people who are business minded, you will find they have no time for anything spiritual upliftment. They want to do pious activities, but their main thing is to earn money. Similarly, you will find women generally were not so philosophical. Are not so philosophical. They by nature have good sentiments, but they are not philosophical. So you won't find very great philosophers as women, because that body is such, that it doesn't help you cultivate, but that facility is available for everybody, but it is for common. And similarly, the Shudra, because he cannot sustain himself, his only inclination is to serve and remain dependent upon other and serve them. So these souls who are in these three bodies, they have less chance, they have less proclivity to become spiritual person. It doesn't stop them. Anybody can become spiritual, but that body or that profession stops them like this. Generally speaking, like that. But you see, you also have great, devotees like Janma Mataji, Mirabai, you see, so it's not, exceptions are always there. Even in Shudra body, you will see so many of them, they excelled. Even in Gaudiya Vaishnava also, even so many businessmen, you see, they are such, the one who sponsored the chapati whole thing is a businessman, So there are always general thing, and there is always something which are exceptions, which are possible. Rather, Krishna बोलते हैं, भगवद गीता के अंदर भी यही बोलते हैं कि nobody is भगवान के प्रेम से कोई भी वंचित नहीं है. और वो यही यूज करते हैं कि चाहे उस आत्मा की जो शरीर हो, वो स्त्री का हो या शूद्र का हो या वैश्य का हो या और किसी नियम नहीं होने का हो. So everybody has a right to progress in devotional life, but generally speaking, that such people do not take to spiritual life on their own. अभी तो क्या हो रहा है, golden time is going on. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and their devotees are spreading Krishna consciousness. But आप सोचते हैं कि अगर हमारी लाइफ में भक्त ना होते, तो आज जितने भी हम यहाँ पर भक्त हैं, 26 लोग हैं अभी यहाँ, तो हम सोच सकते हैं कि अपने आप से, बिना किसी भक्त की मदद से, उनकी प्रेरणा से, कि 26 में से एक होता, कि दो होते, कि कोई भी नहीं होता, we don't know what would have been the score. So all this is happening simply due to mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mataji.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Asim Goputra Prabhu.
सर जी, आपने शुरू में लेक्चर में कहा था कि कैसे जब भगवान आते हैं तो धर्म के 4 लेग्स आर बीन एस्टैब्लिश्ड, और अब जब उनके जाने के बाद सत्यता रह गई है. बट जब उनके बर्थ नहीं होता था, व्हाट वाज द सिचुएशन? वाज देयर नो धर्म? और मतलब
बर्थ नहीं होता मतलब
भगवान जब आते हैं तो धर्म की चारों लेग्स रहते हैं, दोबारा से एस्टैब्लिश होते हैं, या दे पिलर्स?
नहीं प्रभु जी, व्हेन ही ओके, सो एवरी दो तरह से भागवतम में बताया गया है. एक तरह से बताया गया है कि एक लेग टूटती रहती है, और 12th कैंटो के अंदर बताया है 25% चारों कम हो जाते हैं. दोनों तरीके से देख सकते हैं कि सतयुग में अंदर 100%, देन त्रेता के अंदर 75%, द्वापर के अंदर 50%, like this, and then 25%, then 0, like this, है ना? तो जब भगवान आते हैं, then everything becomes, like a effulgent, and everything good happens, because he has come, है ना? सारे नक्षत्र एक तरह से हो जाते हैं, everything comes good, like this. But when he goes, then everything is fallen back to the same thing. You understood? Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born. अगर आप पढ़ेंगे कि उस वक्त भारत में, बंगाल में, उड़ीसा में इतनी समृद्धि आई थी, इतनी समृद्धि आई, पूछिए मत, है ना? Just because God has come, like that, है ना? But when he goes, then it is back to the same situation, like this, है ना? तो वो तो द्वापर के जो भगवान आते हैं, द्वापर और कलयुग के संधि के टाइम पे ऊपर आते हैं. So which means things are anyway going from 50% to 25% to like that. और ये पूछेंगे प्रश्न, ये प्रश्न आएगा अभी अगले 3-4 श्लोकों में ही आ जाएगा कि जब भगवान चले गए फिर क्या करें, धर्म साथ ले गए, अब क्या करें. So that answer we will hear.
ठीक, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Pinky Mataji.
Prabhuji, can I recite text 10?
Verse 10? हाँ, जरूर बताओ, सुनाओ verse 10.
प्रायेणाल्पायुषः सभ्या कलावस्मिन् युगे जनः मतयो मंदभाग्याय उपाद्रुतः.
Wonderful, wonderful. ये सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट श्लोकों में से है, याद करने वाला, और ये हमें याद करना चाहिए अपने लिए, ये दूसरों के लिए नहीं, कि प्रायेण अल्पायुषु, कि जो आयु है वो कम है, और मंद सुमंद मतयो, दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण जीवन है, लेजे है मंद भाग्य की उपद्रता, कि वी आर दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण जीवन, मिसगाइडेड एंड उपाद्रता, ऑलवेज डिस्टर्ब्ड. सो थैंक यू विनाश फॉर रिमाइंडिंग अस. ओके, थैंक यू सो मच. और देखो आपको और डिवोटीज भी आपको ब्लेसिंग दे रहे हैं चैट के ऊपर. थैंक यू. सो वी विल एंड दिस सेशन नाउ. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय. जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय. निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे. हरि हरि बोल. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्णा.
और आप में से कोई रह गया हो वृंदावन यात्रा के लिए, तो वी हैव फ्यू सीट्स, है ना? दे कैन जॉइन फॉर वृंदावन यात्रा. इफ एनीबडी इज लेफ्ट आउट, कैन जॉइन. वी हैव फ्यू सीट्स इन द बस.
Would have been loved it, but I'm in Bangalore now.
Okay, Mataji. Next time.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Next time, pakka.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.